Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video in Swear's Corner. I am Swear and today we will be discussing my biggest current issue with the state of movie studios right now. The idea for this video was born with my frustration and anger with the new Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi. We will mainly be discussing my biggest issue right now is with Disney. Basically, those are the people that I have beef with, and I want to, let's I'm sorry. What is this video? Basically, what I'm trying to say is this video doesn't have any structure. I haven't written a single word down for this video, and so it's going to be more so a bit of a rant and not a planned, thought-out video, because I have a lot of thoughts on this video, but I feel like the video is going to turn out much better if I just spew a bunch of crap and then, let the chips fall where they may. Oh god, I'm going to get a headache. Oh, this video is gonna cause me a massive headache. Oh my god. Ah! Let's get on with it, shall we? So I've been a Star Wars fan for about, the past, I don't know, five years now. I don't know, I'm very bad at math. I'm not gonna do the math. But yeah, about the past 5 years, and I've dived into the original trilogy, the sequels, and the prequels. And if I'm being honest, the original trilogy is by far the best. Let me start with that. But I really enjoyed the prequels. Purely for the storyline, I enjoy seeing good characters fall and descend into evil. Like those kind of stories, I really enjoy those kind of stories. Watching a descent of someone into utter chaos and tyranny and that kind of storyline. And so that's why I was very attracted to the prequels, specifically, Revenge of the Sith. I really enjoy that movie. I think that is my favorite Star Wars movie, aside from, the obvious, all the issues that are within that movie. And those movies, the prequels, have a lot of issues. But just the idea of watching Darth Vader descend into evil and tyranny, right? Okay, I'm ranting a lot about Star Wars, but I'm trying to set up my point about movie studios. And so when the new series, Obi-Wan Kenobi, was announced, it had me. Disney had me by the balls, because I really wanted to see Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, go head to head once again, because when they did in Revenge of the Sith, it was such a amazing experience for me to watch. And so far, we're up to episode 5 now, right? As of recording this video, the last episode 6, has not come out yet. And I am incredibly frustrated, disappointed, and angry with this show. I've been talking to my friend about, this show as it's been airing out, but also I've been voicing to him my disgust for the current Disney brand as a whole. And the word that keeps cropping up between us in our conversations is, at the moment, Disney is just pathetic. Like there's I don't know, there's no other way to describe it. And let me set this up. And it's not just Disney that I think is pathetic, but I think it's most movie studios right now as a whole. And I'll explain why. I feel like in the past maybe 10 years, movie studios have sacrificed their desires to tell genuinely good stories for financial success. And what I mean by this is that they've compromised good storytelling to make a lot of money. Right? Look at all the remakes that they've made. The Lion King, Aladdin, Jungle Book, all these, there's tons of them. Beauty and the Beast. All of these movies have been made without the intent to tell genuinely good stories. These movies have been made just for the cash grab. And it's upsetting because Disney, for example, knows that because all of us grew up with these stories, they know for a fact that we're all going to tune in and go to the cinema and spend our money to go and watch these movies, no matter how crap and shit they are. Right? And that's upsetting. Let me say this. It's okay for a movie studio's main goal to be money, as long as their desire to make money doesn't come at the expense of their ability to tell genuinely good stories, right? Look at Marvel Studios. Maybe not the current Marvel Studios. We'll get into that a bit later. But in the past, 10 years, right, Marvel have done a very good job of making financially successful movies, but they've also done a fairly sufficient job of telling good, creative, unique stories for their viewers. And that's what I'm talking about. In the past, there was always that balance, of telling good stories that were financially successful. If you look at the Disney Renaissance, all of those movies, box office hits. Those movies are the pinnacle of my childhood. But they were financially successful movies, but at the same time, they were beautifully told stories, and one didn't compromise the other, if that makes sense. I hope I hope everything that I'm saying is making sense. But I feel like Disney, for example, in the last 10 years have compromised their desire to tell good stories for just cash grabs. Because at the moment, as you can see, Disney own everything. And I mean everything. They have bought out almost every single small scale studio, even the big scale studios, and they kind of run the world. And I think I get it. It must be. No, actually, you know what? I don't get it. I'm not going to make excuses for Disney. Why? Because I'm pissed. Ugh, the headache, guys. Making this video is giving me a headache, and my tongue is sore from all the waffling that I'm doing. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I lost the plot. Let's get back on track. I had this realization while watching the series Kenobi. Now I'm only 19, so maybe when I was younger, movie studios, their main priority was also just money at the time, and maybe because I was so young, I didn't realize this at the time. But like I said earlier, I feel like their desire for money and to make a financially successful movie, which is I think has always been the case, it didn't come at the expense of telling a good story. Whereas I feel nowadays that is the price for financial success, is telling a shit story, and it has a crap ton of fan service, it panders to everyone, and just genuinely isn't good, you know? And I had this realization when I was watching the new show Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I realized this because most of that show so far has just been fan service. Unnecessary, uncreative fan service. And the fan service doesn't serve to tell the story in a good way. Like if we look at Marvel Studios' Spider-Man No Way Home, that movie was basically like a shot of fan service. The whole movie was like, here's everything from your childhood repackaged into 2021. Have it, right? But I feel like the fan service in that movie was used in a way as a vehicle to tell this new story, if that makes sense. Whereas I feel with this new show, Obi-Wan Kenobi, they're using stuff from the past purely to draw us in to watch this show, no matter how good it is. And that, to me, that's what irritates me. They're making me as a viewer feel very dumb, for tuning into and watching a series that is actually really bad, but they're masking it with all the stuff from the past to make it look and appear good because of all the nostalgia that I attach to this series, Hi, it's editing swear here. I just wanted to add this piece in because the last episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi has just come out, and I must say it was really, really good. Now, that doesn't change how I feel about anything that I've said in this video or how I feel about the show, because I feel like even though the ending was very good, it doesn't justify all the nonsense that came before it in the series. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they wasted 4.5 episodes of useless plot, only to now give us right at the very end of the show and the last 2 episodes some fantastic television that I've been wanting for like 7 years. You know what I mean? So while the ending was good, I don't feel like a great ending justifies a terrible build-up. And I still feel how I feel about everything that I'm saying in this video. I just thought that, for the people who have seen Obi-Wan Kenobi, I feel like I should, give my full thoughts on the show. Great ending,
doesn't justify the terrible execution of the other 75% of the show. Back to the video.
And that's my issue with Obi-Wan Kenobi. But if we look at the larger movie industry with all the remakes that are coming into the fold, like the new Lord of the Rings, or all the Disney remakes, or the reboots that all these different movie studios are making, I feel like in the last 10 years, movie studios have lost their desire to tell creative stories. And for me, that's very upsetting because I truly love movies and I love storytelling. And so when I see a movie studio like Disney with access to all the resources that it could possibly need, this guys, Disney has so much money, and to see them have access to everything they could possibly need to tell a good story and then tell a bad story, it's just so disheartening to me. Because you'll see genuinely creative people with limited budgets tell phenomenal stories. Like, there are still people in this industry who desire to tell good stories, and they have access to so little, but yet they can still do such a good job. And so it upsets me when you see someone with all everything they could possibly want, and they just waste it, or they waste all of it. Sorry, my head hurts. It's the roof is spinning. Like, if we look, another example, if we look at this new Lord of the Rings show that's coming out. As of recording this video, it hasn't come out yet. But I know that it's going to be shit. Just, I feel like we as viewers now, we know that most majority of these reboots that come out are not going to be good. And why is that? They're not going to be good because their main goal is just a cash grab. They know that because I am a Lord of the Rings fanatic, they know that I'm going to watch this show because I love Lord of the Rings. And because they know that, they know they don't have to focus on telling a genuine story. They just have to use the name of Lord of the Rings, and they know I'm going to watch it, which pisses me off because they're right. And movies shouldn't be done this way. This isn't how movies should be made. It's just disheartening, especially when movie studios bring back all these old dead franchises and try to revive them. Not only is the new material that they're producing garbage and pathetic, but their attempt to do this is tarnishing the legacy of the original material. You know? Like, Lord of the Rings is potentially my favorite movie trilogy of all time. And this new series, while the original trilogy will always hold a special place in my heart, this new series has the potential to tarnish its reputation, and I don't want that, because The Hobbit, while I did enjoy it, that felt like a cash grab as well, an unnecessary cash grab. Even though the stories, they were okay, the Hobbit trilogy, and so it didn't really tarnish the reputation of Lord of the Rings. But I feel like I know for a fact that this new series is going to do just that. It's going to tarnish everything that's come before it in the Lord of the Rings universe, and that upsets me. I feel like movie studios these days have gotten lazy.
Hi, this is editing swear. I kind of just wanted to, I guess, I don't know, extend an olive branch and try to make my view more well-rounded and fair. Um, well, I do think majority of the reboots and remakes that are coming out now have the goal of cash grabs. There are some movies that are reboots that have come out, which have also come out because they have a genuine desire to enhance the story that they originally come from. And I'm thinking of one movie in particular, Little Woman. Even though that this movie is a remake upon a remake upon a remake upon a remake of however many Little Women there are, this one was made, and I feel like it was made with the intent to enhance the original story. and it was made because the story hasn't been seen from this kind of angle before. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why it did so well, is because it's a new take. It's a fresh take on an old story that many people are familiar with. Another new example is a movie like A Star Is Born. There's like 3 or 4 versions of that movie that have been produced over time, and this new one, while it is a similar rehashing of the original source material, I feel like this latest version, with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, they've brought to it something that is fresh and new and rejuvenates the original story that was told. Do you know what I mean? So there are still a few, I guess, small groups of people out there who are remaking stories with the idea to enhance the original story that is being told, if that makes sense.
They've gotten lazy in the search for financial success. And I feel like in the past, movie studios had a solid balance, you know? And the movies that weren't balanced, and the movie in the past, I believe that the movies that were just aiming for financial success and not good storytelling, I feel like those movies didn't do well. If you look back on, I guess, box office numbers, those movies didn't do well at all because their goal was not to tell a good story, it was just financial success. We're living in an era where the goal of financial success is all that dictates if a movie will do well, if that makes sense. Like, look at all the Disney remakes. I'm not saying they're bad, but they're not creative. They're not good stories, right? But they all do over $1 billion because they know we're all gonna watch these movies, right? So we're living in an era where the movie studios have all the power because they know that regardless of the quality of what they're putting out, we're gonna watch it. So they have the luxury of not telling good stories, but still somehow making financially successful movies. I am hoping this makes sense. Because in my head it makes sense, and knowing that it makes sense in my head is driving me crazy, and I want you guys to be as angry and disheartened as I am about all of this, you know? And I have been talking for entirely too long. I hope that this makes sense. And if it does make sense, you're probably just as angry as I am. And so, welcome. It's nice to not be alone in this anymore. Basically, this has been a long rant, a long unnecessary rant that I am angry with the current state of movie studios, Disney. And yeah, also this is like a bit of a prediction of mine. I feel before I end the video, I want to mention this as well. I feel like Marvel Studios, for example, is also starting to head into this same groove of compromising good storytelling for financial success. And that upsets me because I have spent tens of thousands of rands putting my booty in theaters to see almost every Marvel movie in cinema. I've spent hundreds of thousands of hours on this franchise, and so far in Phase 4, the movies and series that they have produced haven't been great. They've been good. They've been solid stories. I mean, we all know this, but I feel like Marvel have an established rhythm. Where they can tell good stories that are financially successful, and I feel like for a while now the Marvel formula has become repetitive, and now that Marvel produces content on such a big scale with releasing, I think it's like 4 movies and 4 series every year, I feel like their vast output has come at the expense of great quality, if that makes sense. Like the series, for example, the series that they've been putting out, the stories are okay and they're nothing special, but they have all the resources to tell phenomenal, fantastic, different, weird stories, you know? And they stuck in that Marvel formula, which is a bit sad. And I feel I have a slight suspicion that they're gonna continue to descend into this downfall of financial success over creative narrative. Especially considering that Marvel is under the Disney umbrella, once again. But yeah, okay, I'm done. Go away, please. I'm gonna go lie down. I need to lie down because doing this kind of rant, it hurts my brain. And I hope that I've done my job in hurting your brain as well because now you understand what I'm trying to say. And now we're in this together. I hope that I'm wrong. And I hope that what I've explained is just a patch, a very short era in storytelling, in movie history. And I hope that, in the next 10, 15 years, this whole reboot nature is phased out and the desire to tell genuinely good stories returns. Yeah, okay, we're done now. I've been saying we're done now for about 3 minutes, but now we're actually done. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.